The Rajah ordered Ariel to come closer. The servants nudged Ariel forward. "Who are you?" the Rajah asked. Ariel was still deciding how to act, and said nothing. "Who are you?" the Rajah repeated in English, thinking that Ariel did not know Hindustani. The youth remained silent. Mohita asked the same question in Bengali and Marathi, then switched to the Dravidian languages, Telugu and Tamil, and then finally to Tibetan and Burman tongues, with the same result. The Rajah frowned and said, "He is either deaf or stubborn, but I shall force him to speak." And his eyes flashed. "Can you fly?" the Rajah asked, switching back to Hindustani. Mohita couldn't stand it, and, coming closer to Ariel, smacked him upside the head and said, "Speak, you idiot, if you don't want to lose your tongue altogether." Ariel's lips moved, but he said nothing. He decided that if he pretended to be deaf, and did not show his ability to fly, perhaps they would let him go. The Rajah snatched the fan from his servant and threw it at Mohita, stomping his feet. "Scoundrel! You brought me some kind of an idiot!" "Have mercy, O master of my life!" Mohita exclaimed, falling to his knees before the Rajah. "I did not lie. Ask them." He pointed at the servant. "Ask my wife, Bintiabasini. Everyone saw this man, or spirit in human form, fly. Order him whipped, and he shall speak and fly." "He will get his share of lashing, but you won't escape yours either." And the Rajah clapped his hands. The curtains to the right of the throne opened. An enormous, curly-haired man appeared by the Rajah's side. He was as black as ebony wood, and carried a cat-o'-nine-tails, always ready to obey his master. The Rajah silently pointed at Mohita. The executioner raised his whip and brought it down with a whistle. Mohita was huddled on the floor, screaming at the top of his lungs and curling into a ball. Ariel straightened out and suddenly said, "Stop it! Yes, I can fly." The whip froze in the air, and the Rajah fell back against the cushions in astonishment, then yelled at the servants, "Hold on to that rope! If he flies away, I shall take your heads off." Ariel knelt. Mohita kept gasping, but his face shone. The storm was over. He propped himself up and sat on the floor. "Who are you?" the Rajah asked again, looking at Ariel with some fear. More than anything else, Ariel was afraid that they would send him back to Dandahat, and so he said, "I don't know who I am, and where I'm from." The Rajah was puzzled. "What do you mean, you don't know? You flew into my park from the street. Where were you before that?" "I know no more than a newborn baby. I gained my senses in the street." Ariel said the first thing that popped into his head. "And how do you know about newborn babies?" the Rajah asked. Ariel was taken aback, not knowing what to say. "I think you are a little confused," the Rajah said, but there was no more anger in his voice. His imagination was deeply struck by the flying man. He had to be careful with this youth. What an acquisition! Neither pharaohs nor the greatest emperors had such a toy. If only he could tame this human bird. "What is your name?" Ariel thought about it and replied, "Siddha." It was the name of one of the spirits from Indian mythology. "Siddha? Very well. Let it be Siddha," the Rajah said after a pause. "Oh, merciful master!" Mohita reminded him of himself, having recovered. The Rajah glanced at him benevolently and said, "The treasurer shall give you 1 crore of rupees, and 900 sacks of rupees for the 9 scars you have received." Footnote: 1 crore equals 100 lakhs. 1 lakh equals 100,000 rupees. Mohita bowed to the ground. Of course, the Rajah would not give him quite that much gold, but he would not leave him entirely without reward. "Listen, Siddha. Stay with me, and you won't regret it.